Have you ever noticed that your deepest sleep comes only when your dog is nearby? What does it say about a person who cannot fully relax unless their dog is close? Is it simply comfort, or is something far more psychological quietly happening inside you? What if sleeping beside your dog reveals something profound about your emotional inner world? What if your dog understands something about your inner life that even you have not recognized? What if this nightly ritual is not habit, but a quiet and powerful form of emotional intelligence? There is a behavior millions of people share, yet most have never paused to think about what it truly means. They just do it every single night. No explanations needed. They curl beside their dog, feel something settle in their chest, and drift into the deepest sleep they have ever known. From the outside it looks simple, a person and their pet sharing warmth. But from inside the psychology of that person, something remarkably complex is happening every night. Psychologists who study attachment and emotional regulation have spent decades exploring why humans form such deep, instinctive connections with animals. What they found goes far beyond affection. Sleeping beside a dog is one of the most psychologically revealing behaviors a person can exhibit. It speaks directly to how you process safety and trust. Sleep is our most vulnerable state. You lose conscious control entirely. Your mind surrenders to helplessness, and that surrender only happens when your brain believes it is truly safe. The real question is not why you sleep beside your dog. The far more powerful question is, what does it mean that your brain chose your dog to make surrender feel possible? What does it mean that in a world full of people and relationships, your nervous system turns to a four-legged creature and whispers, "With you, I can finally let go"? When you think about people who sleep beside their dogs, what do you notice? Are they softer? More emotionally attuned? Do they carry something quietly that only their dog reaches? Because this relationship at the level of sleep is not just emotional. It is neurological, chemical, ancient, and it is unmistakably, profoundly human at its very core. What psychological question hides inside this nightly ritual? Is it about love? About loneliness? About something that began long before the dog ever arrived in that person's life? Could it be that people who feel safest beside their dogs understand, at some wordless level, that genuine rest requires genuine trust, and that trust, for them, lives there? Your brain never fully shuts off during sleep. Even in the deepest rest, the amygdala stays alert, scanning the environment for any signal of threat or of safety. When your dog is beside you, your amygdala detects warmth, the rhythm of breathing, the sounds of life. Rather than registering threat, it processes this as a trusted signal. It tells the rest of your brain, you are not alone and you are not in danger. That quiet recognition changes everything about how deeply you allow yourself to rest. This is called co-regulation, a primitive process where one nervous system helps regulate another. Babies do this with their mothers. Partners do it in relationships. Humans do it with dogs. Co-regulation between a human and a dog during sleep is not metaphorical. It is measurable. Research links a dog's presence in the bedroom to improved sleep quality and stability. Cortisol is the hormone released when your body perceives threat. Chronically elevated cortisol links to anxiety, insomnia, and depression. A dog's trusted presence can bring those levels down quietly and reliably. Oxytocin rises at the same time, the bonding hormone released during connection and trust. It surges in new mothers, in embracing partners, and when you rest quietly beside your dog. Sleeping beside your dog is chemically transformative. Your body produces a different hormonal profile when your dog is near. You are physiologically calmer, more bonded, more whole. This is biology. Consider serotonin, central to mood, emotional balance, and sleep. Dogs, through their presence, physical warmth, and steady breathing, act as gentle natural stimulators of serotonin in the human brain. And dopamine, the reward chemical. Every time you settle beside your dog and feel that wave of ease, your brain registers a reward. Over time, your dog becomes an anchor for calm. This is why sleeping beside a dog feels not like preference but genuine need. It is the brain doing exactly what it was designed to do, seeking safe, regulated calm. Now let us talk about something older than neurochemistry. For tens of thousands of years, humans slept in open environments surrounded by darkness and predators. They did not sleep alone. They slept beside dogs. This is not a modern lifestyle preference. It is the continuation of one of the oldest partnerships in human history, a bond written into our biology. Evidence suggests humans and proto-dogs began co-sleeping 15,000 years ago. In that ancient world, a dog beside you was not comfort, it was survival. A dog heard what ears could not. A dog alerted the group before danger arrived. Beside a trusted dog, the sleeping human was safer. Over millennia, the brain encoded this truth permanently. So when you sleep beside your dog and feel inexplicably safer, part of what you feel is thousands of years of evolutionary memory activating inside your nervous system. Entirely rational. It is recognizing a trusted guardian and warm ally, and finally allowing itself to rest in the ancient way it was always designed to, beside something it genuinely and deeply trusts. This also explains why people sleeping alone often struggle with rest. The human brain was not built for solitary sleep. We evolved to sleep in proximity, in presence, in trusted company. But evolution does not complete the picture. Sleeping beside a dog is also about the need to be near something that loves you without condition, without judgment, without emotional complexity. A dog does not bring unresolved arguments to bed. A dog does not shift warmth away after a difficult conversation. A dog arrives each night fully present and unshakably committed. That matters. For people who experienced emotional inconsistency early in life, those whose love was conditional or unpredictable, a dog's unconditional nightly presence can become the most reliable emotional constant they have ever known. Attachment theory tells us early experiences with caregivers shape how we relate to safety forever. These patterns, secure, anxious, avoidant, never disappear. They resurface in our sleep and relationships. For people with anxious attachment, a dog at night can regulate the nervous system in ways human relationships sometimes cannot match. The dog's warmth communicates, you are not alone and you are safe. For those with avoidant attachment, those who learn protection through distance, a dog becomes the one relationship where closeness is allowed without triggering fear. It simply quietly stays. For the avoidant heart, that uncomplicated nearness asks nothing difficult. It does not withdraw when things feel hard. That steadiness gently rewires something deep and guarded within the person over time. Consider loneliness. Research shows chronic loneliness damages physical health as severely as smoking 15 cigarettes per day. It disrupts sleep, elevates inflammation, and shortens lifespan in ways that cannot be dismissed. In a world more digitally connected and humanly disconnected than any generation before, loneliness reaches epidemic proportions. People feel its weight most in the quiet, unguarded hours of night. Dogs are among the most powerful antidotes to loneliness ever observed in research. They provide presence without social complexity, warmth without requiring you to expose inner wounds to anyone. At night, when human support is absent or asleep, a dog beside you says, in the only language it knows, you are not alone in this world. You are wanted. When anxiety rises at night, it lives in the chest, a tightness, a restlessness, an inability to exhale. The warmth of a resting dog can physically interrupt that pattern. The gentle pressure of a resting dog, their warmth, and the sound of their breathing send safety signals to the nervous system. The body hears what an anxious mind refuses to accept. Dogs provide a living warmth the body learns to associate with safety. That warmth breathes and shifts, undeniably, comfortingly alive in a way that nothing else can replicate. Some dogs synchronize breathing with their owners over time. This entrainment, where two bodies breathe in rhythm, is one of the most primal forms of nervous system co-regulation in biology. The human need for touch is primal. When it goes unmet through isolation or grief, a dog's physical presence becomes its quiet and faithful fulfillment, night after night. That fulfillment happens without asking. The dog does not calculate whether you deserve warmth. It simply comes near, settles down, and stays without condition and without hesitation. All of this, the chemistry, evolutionary memory, attachment patterns, touch, and co-regulation, works invisibly each night. The nervous system simply knows what it needs and moves toward it. Over time, the dog becomes a physiological partner in rest, a living, choosing presence the body has learned to need not out of weakness but out of genuine, hard-earned wisdom. The human need for belonging is not emotional preference. It is a survival mechanism. The brain is wired to seek it, protect it, and register its absence as something close to physical pain. For many, the complexity of human relationships makes belonging feel fragile. A misunderstanding, a shifting dynamic, and belonging feels withdrawn. A dog never withdraws belonging. It is simply and permanently there. That unconditional belonging tells the nervous system, night after night, that it is wanted somewhere real, that it does not need to earn its place, that it belongs here exactly as it is. For many people, their dog forms part of how they understand themselves. Not what they do, but who they are. I am someone my dog loves. I am someone who stays. Being loved by a dog shapes identity quietly. It says, I am worthy of this uncomplicated devotion. Over time, the person who believes that builds a genuinely different relationship with themselves. Grief is worth naming. Many who lost a human relationship through death, divorce, or estrangement found their dog became the first safe relationship afterward. The dog was there when people felt too painful. For those in grief, sleeping beside a dog is survival. It is proof that warmth still exists, that something living still chooses to be near them, that the night contains gentleness after all. A dog reflects the self back without distortion. In the stillness of night, that reflection is most available and healing. The person who lies beside their dog finds they are still recognizable. These are the needs of someone emotionally awake. Someone who has not numbed themselves to the requirement for warmth, presence, and the fundamental human experience of being genuinely chosen by something living. They are the needs of someone who has not trained themselves out of needing connection. That kind of person, open, feeling, present, is exactly the kind of person a dog loves most. There is deep mutual recognition between a feeling human and their dog. The dog senses the emotional landscape of their person. The person senses something wordless and warm in return, something true. Dogs read human emotion through voice, posture, scent, and micro-expression with remarkable accuracy. They know us in ways we struggle to know ourselves. And they stay knowing all of it without flinching. And they choose to stay anyway. That, more than any other single fact, is why sleeping beside a dog feels the way it does. Not obligation. Every night they choose you again. That daily choosing, unremarkable to the dog, profound to the human, is what makes the relationship so healing. Not dramatic. Simply, you are here, I am here, and everything is well. In a world where many people feel chosen last or not at all, being chosen first and completely by their dog is something they carry quietly into the darkness each night and rest inside. Now let us consider the different types of people who feel this pull most deeply. The need is widely shared, but the root varies. Understanding your type might reveal something genuinely real. There is the protector, someone who feels parental responsibility toward their dog and sleeps beside them not only to receive comfort, but to give it. Their need to be needed finds fulfillment. The protector listens for their dog's breathing at night, adjusts the blanket, stays alert. Being someone's safe harbor is not just love for them. It is a source of deep personal meaning. Then there is the deep bonder, someone who experiences connection at overwhelming depth. For them, sleeping beside their dog is an extension of the deepest relationship in their entire life. The deep bonder has always felt things more intensely than those around them. Their dog is a soul companion, someone with whom they feel understood at a level that human language rarely reaches. There is the healer, someone who survived grief or trauma and found their way back partly through their dog. That presence is proof that gentleness and warmth still exist in the world. The healer may not speak about what they survived. Their dog was there through it. Sleeping beside that animal is an ongoing act of recovering the parts of themselves they feared were permanently gone. There is the caregiver, the one others call, the one who gives endlessly. At night beside their dog, the caregiver finally stops performing strength and is simply allowed quietly and fully to exist. In that space, the caregiver discovers what it feels like to receive. The dog asks only for closeness. In giving only that, something in the caregiver that has always given begins to heal. And there is the control seeker, someone for whom predictability is a lifeline. The world feels uncertain, but their dog is constant. That reliability is not a small comfort. It is absolutely everything. The control seeker has learned that things fall apart. Their dog does not. That permanent, unfailing presence is the most healing thing they have ever allowed themselves to fully and gratefully depend on. Which type feels most like you? You might see yourself in more than one. You might be different from who you were years ago. That evolution is itself worth sitting with honestly tonight. Now let us go somewhere deeper. To the inner child, that part formed in your earliest years, carrying the blueprint of how you first learned what safety did or did not feel like. Childhood is where we learn the rules of safety. For many, those rules were written under difficult conditions. Perhaps your nervous system learned early that darkness meant vigilance rather than rest. Or perhaps you were a lonely child who found more ease with animals than with people. Many adult dog owners carry a child inside them who was comforted by animals in ways people could not. The inner child does not disappear when we grow up. It continues shaping our emotional responses and nightly rituals. When an adult feels whole beside their dog, the inner child responds too. When that adult curls beside their dog and feels a wave of relief and belonging, it is not only the grown self responding. It is also the child they once were, finally receiving something needed. In sleeping beside their dog, a person gives their inner child what it may have always needed: consistent, uncomplicated, unshakable presence. They quietly reparent themselves through the love they allow their dog to give. This is one of the most profound forms of healing available to us. Not in an office, but at midnight in the dark, beside a dog who has never once judged anything you have felt. Emotional wounds leave traces in the body. Chronic stress, grief, and early trauma alter how our nervous systems function. And yet a dog, warm, alive, choosing to stay, can reach those places. Some trauma therapists incorporate animal-assisted approaches because they understand that the nervous system heals in relationship, and that a dog is one of the most effective relational healers any person can find. Now let us look at the wider picture. This behavior reveals something not just about individuals, but about the world we all share, and the quiet emotional hungers of our disconnected modern time. We have built a world of remarkable efficiency and emotional scarcity. More tools for communication than any generation before, yet more loneliness than ever. People feel that scarcity most at night. In this world, sleeping beside a dog is a quiet act of reclamation, of warmth, of presence, of the ancient knowledge that human beings were simply never designed to face the darkness alone. This is the human animal recognizing that connection is not a luxury, but a necessity. Finding it in the warm, willing body of a trusted dog is one of the most quietly courageous things a person can do. If you feel safer sleeping beside your dog, you are not unusual or foolishly attached. You are someone whose nervous system found genuine safety and returned to it faithfully, with well-earned trust. You are part of the oldest tradition of our species, the long, warm, unbroken line of humans and dogs who made each other braver and more whole by choosing, night after night, to stay. If this resonated, please like it and subscribe. Keep exploring the deeper psychology beneath everyday human behavior. And in the comments, do you sleep beside your dog, and which type felt most like you?